Hello and welcome to this discussion in the wire. After the BJP won Assam and Tripura, a lot of debate around BJP's lookist policy started to get a lot of media attention. It was said that BJP is looking to neutralize its possible losses in north of India, which it swept in 2014, with gaining seats in the East Indian states, which and the Assam victory started kind of a buzz in the media that BJP is going to do well definitely in the northeast. But the two most important states in the east are West Bengal and Odisha, and in both these states they have regional parties. In West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee has a grip over the state, and similarly in Orissa, Naveen Patnaik of Biju Janata Dal has been ruling Orissa for 19 long years. And to discuss about the possibilities in Orissa, we have with us former editor-at-large of the Hindustan Times, Rajesh Mahapatra, and he closely tracks Orissa politics. And what Orissa's election this time also means is that the BJP will be challenging the BJD there, and Congress, which has been the traditional opposition in Orissa, is also giving a very tight fight to the BJD, making the election a triangular election there. So, and Orissa will also be seeing a simultaneous assembly polls. So, many political analysts have been feeling that Orissa will kind of send some kind of surprise results, or and many say that Naveen Patnaik is so strong there that it's very difficult to defeat them right now. So regarding all these issues, we will be chatting for the next few minutes with Rajesh Mahapatra. Welcome, sir, to this discussion. So, but my first question would obviously be what is being talked about in Delhi, which is Odisha will be seeing its first four-phase election. The previous times it has generally been held in one phase, or at best around two phases, if we keep aside the left-wing extremism areas. So that is why it was divided. How do you see the impact of a four-phase election, and what is the buzz in Odisha about this?
Well, I think I've said this before. The four-phase polling in Odisha is a first for Odisha, and clearly it has been done not so much because of logistics reasons or administrative reasons, but I think it is largely for political reasons. I think BJP is hoping that if the elections are staggered over four phases, it will help them get their star campaigner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to tour the state widely and expansively and help that gain some foothold over there. Having said that, I think for our audience, if I can sort of break down a few basics about Odisha and its electoral landscape. So Odisha sends 21 Lok Sabha MPs. It has got an assembly of 147 seats. And Odisha goes to polls, the assembly and the Lok Sabha go to polls simultaneously in April and May. Now,
so even the assembly elections is spread over four phases.
Yes, that is how it will be, because you don't fix separate dates. Now, the BJP's hope or BJP's strategy of even though the election commission has set the dates, it is widely believed that the ruling party would have wanted it that way, is based on the fact that in 2014 elections, the Bharatiya Janata Party got 18% votes for its assembly segments in Odisha, and it got 21% votes for its Lok Sabha candidates. So there was a 3 percentage point difference, which could be largely interpreted as that the voters of Odisha for the central government or for the Lok Sabha seats tended to swing a little more for BJP than they did for the assembly. Yes. So I think they are pinning their hopes that if that gets repeated, they may bag a few more seats than they did in 2014 for the Lok Sabha. Now, here are a few basic things about Odisha's politics. One, Naveen Patnaik, who is completing 4 terms and is widely expected to get into a record fifth term, is not unpopular. His popularity may have declined a bit, but he is not so unpopular to the extent that it would affect his party's electoral prospects. That is point number 1. Point number 2, the BJP is trying very, very hard. It's spending a lot of money, it's investing a lot of manpower. Its leaders have been national leaders have been frequently visiting the state, and it has succeeded in creating a lot of buzz about itself in Odisha, both locally and nationally. That is the number 2. Number 3 is that the Congress did revive a bit from a moribund state that it had slipped into, but that momentum seems to have been lost. It continues to be as chaotic as it was, but its base at a ground level still remains intact. So, this is about the state of affairs.
So, but before we get into the dynamics of politics in Odisha, can I also say that more people are thinking that it would give the 4-phase election will give Narendra Modi a chance to campaign extensively, but the BJP people would come and say that it also gives equal opportunities for both Rahul Gandhi and Naveen Patnaik to campaign simultaneously, and they also get more time to consolidate their base during the 4 phases. So, what do you have to kind of?
You are absolutely right. Yes. It all depends on how now the opposition reworks its plan for these 4 phases. My sense is that to a great extent things could get neutralized. In fact, it works equally to the favor of Naveen Patnaik, because as you know, he might have found it difficult to crisscross the state a lot. Now, it actually gives him a fairly long stretch of time to actually go around the state, and I would say it probably works to Naveen's advantage more, because if Naveen is able to travel around the state, the conversion of votes in favor of BJD I would like to believe that would be a lot higher than the conversion of votes that could happen for BJP by virtue of Modi's visits.
So, the other thing is also the BJP here, at least in Delhi, they claim that they have emerged as the main opposition in Odisha and has replaced Congress, which has been the traditional opposition in Odisha, especially in the last 20 years. So, how do you, and especially after the BJP's performance in 2015 or 16's Panchayat election, where it emerged as the second largest party at the Jilla Parishad level, do you see the BJP gaining some ground in Odisha and kind of replacing the Congress? And in simple words, which party do you think will play the role of second opposition or the main opposition?
It's difficult to say at this point in time. Having said that, let me give my view about what I think of what is being written in national media here and also in local media there. At worst, it is lazy journalism, or it could be in some cases motivated journalism. I think there are certain basic facts that both journalists and political analysts tend to ignore. Here are some data that I think would help us put things in perspective. So, in 2014 elections, the BJP came second in 36 seats out of the 147 assembly seats. The Congress came second in 74 seats. So, that's twice the number of seats in which BJP came second. So, clearly, the Congress was the principal opposition. In 95 assembly constituencies, the BJP got less than 30,000 votes. Now, on an average, every Odisha assembly polled around 150,000 votes, 1.5 lakh votes in last elections. I expect in this election it would be around 1.7 to 1.8 lakhs. If that is the case, a winning candidate needs at least 85 to 90,000 votes. So, in these 95 constituencies where BJP got less than 30,000 votes, it means their candidate, whoever is their candidate, has to triple its votes. That's a high. I mean that's next to impossible. So you rule out these 95
So over
seats.
the last 2 years, BJP doesn't. You don't think that BJP has gained a lot of ground?
Show me one election, any example where a party has been able to triple its votes in such a short span of time. That's next to, it's. I mean, there is no wave. It doesn't have leaders who could really swing it their way at a state level. So people don't look at this data. So these 95 constituencies are virtually ruled out. So the remaining 52 constituencies, in the best case scenario, if they have a 50% strike rate, that gives you anything between 25 to 30 seats. In the best case scenario. Okay. Now that 50% strike rate would also be applicable to Congress. So that is how I see it.
But even if Congress does 50%, has a strike rate of 50%,
they would also get around that same number,
or a little more than the BJP.
So as on today, I see it like this: Naveen Patnaik is somewhere in 90 to 100 out of the 147 assembly segments. Both BJP and Congress are fighting for the second slot, 25 to 30 each. The Congress did have a fantastic opportunity to come out second, leaving BJP far behind in the past, between July 2018 to December, when the BJP graph really went down. Demoralization set in after a humiliating by-election defeat for BJP in the state, and the Congress got a new leadership in the state. There was a lot of excitement, but I think Congress is back to square one now. The BJP has picked up a bit of momentum, so one would like to believe that they are going neck and neck. It will be very difficult to guess, because at this point in time, in terms of political narrative, in terms of the broad sense one gets, both parties are equally poised for the second position. What will now determine who actually finishes second would be candidate selection, and would be also what happens at a national level in terms of Rahul versus Modi.
But what coming back to what you said just now, one gets this feeling that Naveen Patnaik continues to have a very firm footing in Orissa, and it will be very difficult for either of these national parties to defeat him. But recently, in one of the field visits that I went, Naveen Patnaik was widely seen as a popular figure, but the BJD MLAs themselves face a lot of anti-incumbency, and which is what the chief spokesperson Pratap Deb also agreed to, saying that anti-incumbency is one factor that we are trying to battle. But so in that case of a scenario, where do you see a possibility where the assembly elections will be fought at a different level and people will vote for the parliamentary elections differently? Do you see that people, like you said?
It might happen in a few constituencies, and we have seen that happen in 2014, and it might happen again, but that would be limited to few Lok Sabha constituencies. Now here too, I see in national media there is a lot of talk about how BJP might win 10-12 seats out of the 21 Lok Sabha seats. Now here is again, we need to fall back on data, we need to lean on data to have an informed view on this. Out of the 21 seats in 2014, despite Modi's popularity, BJP finished second in 9 seats. They won 1 and they finished second in 9. The Congress finished second in 11 seats. In the 9 seats that BJP finished second, I have got some statistics over there. Barring 2 seats, which is Kalahandi and Bargarh, where the gap was very close. In Bargarh, they lost by 10,000 votes, and Kalahandi they lost by 60,000 votes. The BJP, lost to BJD. Now, in the remaining 7 out of the 9 seats where BJP finished second, the gap between the winning candidate and the BJP's candidate in no constituency was less than 1.2 lakh votes.
Which is a huge number, yeah.
Now, that's a huge number to make up in these 5 years. Okay? And nor do they have such great leaders who can really swing it that big. So, my sense again is that despite the hype that has been created, I see Naveen Patnaik still winning a large chunk of Lok Sabha seats, and the BJP Congress even there also picking up a few seats, 1 or 2 here and there could be the difference, 2-3 like that. But the majority of seats I would believe as on today is going to BJD.
BJD. So as at the moment, BJP doesn't look like it will be it will be able to neutralize a large number of its losses by winning a large number of seats in Odisha. So, but Rahul Gandhi in one of his recent meetings directly accused the BJD government of being remote controlled by the Narendra Modi government, and the BJD itself in a case of post poll kind of scene, where do you see the BJD going? Because BJD itself maintains that it has a equidistant policy towards both the national parties, but the Congress has always been of the opinion that BJD has always either strategically walked out to favor the BJP in parliamentary debates or have fully supported the Modi government.
I've never been able to figure out what does Mr. Naveen Patnaik mean by equidistant policy, because when it comes to policies, economic policies, or any of the decisions at a national level, in most instances Naveen Patnaik, BJD has gone with BJP. So, somehow I find his politics being a lot closer to that of BJP. He may not be an advocate of Hindutva politics, but his style of functioning, he likes to run his government through the bureaucracy, just as Mr. Narendra Modi likes to run his government through the bureaucracy, and he makes decisions in a fairly autocratic style. I think both their styles of governance are similar. They are both autocrats, and when it comes to economy, both are clearly in favor of right-wing economics. They both believe in free market. They both believe in favoring the interests of large corporates. And they both believe in ignoring the interests of the marginalized, such as the Dalits, the tribals, and the farmers. They have done very little, both the leaders. So, I really don't see in terms of politics any fundamental difference between that of BJD and BJP. I wanted to make one more point. It is also not true that the BJD doesn't face challenges. There are 2 sets of challenges, and that is what we will have to wait and watch to see to what extent Naveen Patnaik's prospects of winning back Odisha could be dented, which is there is undercurrent at many places. There is resentment, there are unfulfilled desires, there are people who would like not to vote for BJD if they get a credible and strong alternative, either by way of a candidate or by way of a political narrative coming out of either Congress or BJP. Things might change between now and the election. The second most critical factor that we will have to wait and watch is Naveen Patnaik and his Biju Janata Dal have kind of taken people from all sides over the last 1 year. They have poached people from Congress, they have poached people from BJP, they have brought in a few high profile civil servants have come and joined that party, they have gotten certain artists, all kinds of things they have done. Now, these people have come in with expectations that they would run for office and they will have to be given tickets, and there is competing claims now within BJD, and I think the first round of implosion in the BJD you will see it by March 25th, when the nominations have to be closed. And when that happens, it remains to be seen. You will see rebels getting out of BJD and contesting in a large number, or they being taken up by either Congress or BJD. Now we'll have to wait and see who cashes in on this better. Will the Congress take advantage of it, or the BJP will take advantage of it? We'll have to wait and watch. But that definitely is going to affect the prospects of BJD in certain constituency. So we still don't have the last word at this point in time. Navin clearly has an advantage over the opposition. In the opposition, we still can't say whether it is Congress or BJP which has an edge. But moving in over the next 1 month, a lot can change.
A lot can change. Finally, my question would be, notwithstanding the electoral dynamics, I also want, as an independent observer, and you talked about Dalits and Adivasis, more than 50% of Odisha's population is of Dalits and Adivasis, but do you
40%.
see more than more
40%,
than
23% Adivasis and 18%
18%
Dalits,
Dalits,
17%
but
Dalits.
it creates a large chunk, and most of the politics seems to be kind of concentrated in coastal Odisha. So, do you see any of these three parties addressing the issues of the poor? In the national imagination, Odisha has been looked at as one of the poorest states of India, but we don't kind of seem to hear a lot of things being done for the poor of Odisha.
At a leadership level, I think the Congress party has been making right noises about Dalits and Adivasis. But the challenge there is that how far that message is carried through by its party workers is something that I seriously doubt, because
The BJD itself has a slew of welfare programs.
yeah,
Has been making
but you see, the problem in Odisha is all the three parties, their leadership is actually dominated by upper castes and what is called the OBC, which is actually not OBC, it's as good as upper caste, which is the Khandaites, but they are OBCs. Whether it is BJD, whether it is BJP, or whether it is Congress, their politics, their state leadership, the decision makers are all come from this caste. And I would like to think that not only that they don't pay much attention to the concerns of Dalits and Adivasis, they at some level I find many of them to be very insensitive and ignorant about the concerns of Dalits and Adivasis. Despite the fact that at a national level you have the Congress party, which has been talking a lot about raising the interest of the tribal issues. The UPA 2 government pushed through the Forest Rights Act, and on the other hand, the BJP has actually come up with some really obnoxious measures, or when it comes to Dalits and Adivasis, they have really flip-flopped like anything. But unfortunately, at a local level, the Congress has not been able to turn this into its favor, and the BJD kind of stays neutral, and in the absence of anybody really taking up their issues and mobilizing them at a political level, the BJD continues to also have a large sway over these communities.
So, we'll end at this, sir. So, as Mr. Mahapatra said, that as at the moment it looks like none of the opposition parties in Orissa is kind of taking or tapping into the anti-incumbency sentiment against BJD, and as of now it looks like BJD has a fair bit of advantage over the other two national parties. In the next 1 month, we'll see how things turn out, and there'll be a lot of political play around candidatures and issues. We'll keep following that up. Thank you so much, and thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.